wonderful group. Our group is after-school tutoring education, providing tutoring for students after school with the Redford school system. And we have met a couple of times in between the meetings that we have here, and we establish a couple of things that are obstacles for us. And one of the things that is an obstacle is the communication. How are we going to establish communication between our volunteers? How we're going to, get the information to them that they need? How will they communicate to us? One of the other things that we looked at is the timing. We want to start the after-school program by mid-March. And so we've been working real diligently with, okay, how do we identify the students, identify the volunteers, sign the volunteers up, sign the students up, sign the parents up, get everybody on board by mid-March. We're excited about this and we feel that we could do it, but it is an obstacle because that's like 3 weeks from now. The other thing is the help that we need the input from the principals, where their kids at. We need their support to give us the students that we need in order to establish the after-school tutoring.
At this time, we have a full buy-in from Detroit Diesel. Our goal is to have 50 volunteers for this mid-March start. I think you have approximately 20 more already identified. So we need to identify the right number of students from all of the schools in the Redford Township, and that's going to be 3 to 4 students from each school, grades 3 through 8, and then we'll be able to start the program. We've got a buy-in from the library to use this space.
Good deal.
As well as several volunteers will be going directly into the schools right after the end of the school day.
As far as the preparation of the curriculum, what will the tutors be working with the students? That's where we need the input from the principals and teachers. What materials are they currently using? What assessments are they going to use to identify the students? Because what we really want is more so an individualized plan for those students who are going to receive tutoring services. Part of my role in our team is to actually make sure that the materials that we're using as well as the curriculum that we're using is in compliance with Michigan state standards for their grade level as it pertains to reading, writing, comprehension, science, social studies, because time is short in the classroom. So what normally takes a hit is science and social studies. So whatever that we're focusing on with the reading instruction to make sure that it has a cross-curricular appeal. Also, Michigan is one of the states in the United States that has adopted what we call Common Core state standards. So we're looking more so, instead of just only using Michigan standards, 75% of the standards in the state of Michigan will now be Common Core standards for the United States. And Michigan will still hold on to its 15 to 20% of that. So the curriculum that we're developing will also be in compliance of that. Developing the curriculum isn't the issue. It's what students will be identified, making sure that they have reading materials, writing materials that are accessible to their level so they don't come to after-school tutoring and struggle and feel defeated. So to find ways to not only to build their skill and strategy base, but also to build their confidence in the classroom. Right now, we do have a very basic plan that's prepared that basically will adapt to each student based on their reading, writing, and skill set. So once we gather that information from principals and teachers and we identify the students, it really takes no more than a few seconds just to prepare the materials and their casework for individual students. Part of my role will also be to make sure that the tutors that we're working with are trained properly to work with the individual students to handle any questions, comments, concerns there are. So there will be some type of modifications that are already in place with the tutoring materials based off of those student needs. So I think we have things pretty well set. At this point, we just need to identify our students, find out where they are, and adjust the basic curriculum that we have for after-school tutoring to their individual needs so it's most beneficial to them. One of the things that we also want to do is to make sure that we can find a match with what they're doing in school, so what they're doing after school won't be isolated, but it really will support their class instruction, which will begin to bridge that educational gap or whatever reading gaps that they may have from grade level to grade level. Reason being why they're being identified for after-school services.
That's it.
Yes.
Would you be able to train, tutor a college student named Michigan who likes to drink and chase girls? You know, him
No,
out?
my curricular background, actually I'm a curriculum specialist for the Midwest states. I'm a curriculum specialist for Pearson Scott Sportsman Education. So my background is K-8 elementary subjects. I'm a former classroom teacher in Detroit Public Schools, and then I also do K-12 technology. So wherever we have the need and the scope of students that we're working with, we definitely have more than just myself here to develop the curriculum, but not in that.
Not in that.
Okay, we got time.
Can you tell me, you said you've got 20 volunteers. Have you checked out, I know that the community used to have a drop-in tutor program that my daughter, when she was in honors at RU, she used to tutor. Will you be considering possibly working with our honor, the honor students, that National Honor Society for both South Redford and Redford Union to help?
Are you referring to the effort at the community center? I think there are 9 high school students at this time.
Yeah, they've done that for many years.
Right,
That's
right.
why I was wondering if that you're going to.
Yeah, I was talking to Teresa. She was part of a kind of a side meeting, and we talked about possibly expanding to that. But at this time, she doesn't really advertise that because of a lack of, seniors and adults to tutor. So we're hoping to
Okay.
incorporate some of that.
But you could touch on that, try to, go back to the
Sure.
National Society.
We plan on having a public-facing either webpage or Facebook or something like that, where we can kind of build some enthusiasm and get more volunteers. The idea is not for Detroit Diesel to be in this thing forever by ourselves. It's to kind of seed this, get it going, and then the rest of the community, parents, other businesses will bring volunteers.
I just have a suggestion because I've done some volunteer work with them in the past. But there's a group called Junior Achievement. If you're familiar with them, and maybe I would contact them and see if they have some suggestions or if they have some volunteers to help you out with that.
So that's, to expand on that, I think once we have a public-facing page of some kind, I think all of you can reach back into your organizations and your friends and such, and direct them there so they can volunteer, and we can bring all these other people here.
Well, hopefully there's a connection to Jeff and the communications team of some sort with this kind of request.
Jeff can't say anything because he's filming.
I know that. Okay. All right, great job.
All right.